iwas.
Narito po tayo ngayon sa Paranque kasamang ating NTF Chief Implementer at Vaccine Czar Carlito Galvez at ilang opisyal ng lungsod ng Paranque sa pangunguna ni Mayor at Congressman Olivares para saksihan po ang rollout ng Russian vaccine na Sputnik V. Mamaya po para sa detalye na nagaganap na pagbabakuna ngayon ng Sputnik V ay narito po si Mayor Olivares at si Secretary Galvez. Samantala, humarap po kagabi ang inyong Presidente Rodrigo Roque Duterte sa taong bayan para sa kanyang regular Talk of the People address. Isa po sa kanyang binanggit ang issue tungkol sa West Philippine Sea. Kaugnay po nito, kahapon po sinabi ko na ang binitawang maanghang na salita ni Secretary ay kabahagi ng kanyang karapatan ng malayang pananalita. Well, tama po yun kasi ang sinabi po ni Secretary Roque ay kanyang personal na pananaw. Linilinaw ko po upon express orders of the President na hindi po ito ang pulisiya ng Pilipinas. Kinilaro po ito mismo ng ating Presidente. Anumang pagkakaiba natin po sa bansang China sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea, hindi ito magde-define ng ating bilateral relations at hindi rin ito magiging hadlang sa ating pakikipagkaibigan sa China at malalim na kooperasyon sa pandemic response, vaccine cooperation at post-pandemic recovery. Hindi rin ito papayagan ang ating kooperasyon sa pandemic response na makaapekto sa ating resolve na ipagtanggol ang ating principled position. Patuloy na ina-assert ng Administrasyong Duterte ang sovereignty at sovereign rights ng Pilipinas sa West Philippine Sea sa pamamagitan ng bilateral diplomacy sa bansang China at multilateral engagement sa ASEAN, strategic partners, UN at international community. Kasabay nito ang tuloy-tuloy na modernisasyon ng ating defense program at enhancement ng ating mga maritime assets. Para isipin na ang paggamit ng mapayapa at diplomatikong pamamaraan para i-assert ang ating mga karapatan at ma-resolve ang mga hindi pagkakaunawaan o disputes bilang appeasement ay isang kabiguan na maintindihan ang basic thrust ng ating independyenteng pulisiyang panlabas na naaayon sa ating saligang batas. Masasabi rin ito ay profound distortion of the historical lessons mula sa Second World War at iba pang conflicts. Ang diplomasya ay hindi appeasement. In a sense, ang diplomasya ay isang form ng warfare na walang dugong dumadana. Hindi rin maituturing na isang form of subjugation ang mapayapang paraan para maresolba ang mga hindi pagkakaunawaan. Ito ay dignified approach para ipagtanggol ang ating pambansang interes at i-uphold ang international law. Habang ginagamit natin ang productive diplomacy at effective deterrence sa pagtanggol ng ating sovereignty at sovereign rights at i-secure ang ating maritime security, hindi natin papayagan ang ating territorial at maritime disputes sa China na maging sagabal sa ating bilateral cooperation sa urgent issue sa laban natin sa COVID-19, partikular ang pangangailangan natin sa bakuna. Anyway, bago po tayo mag-press briefing, kami po ay nagkausap ni Secretary Roque at pinaalam po niya sa akin na personal siyang nag-apologize po sa Chinese ambassador at ang mga nabanggit naman po niyang salita ay dahil lang sa mga bagay-bagay na naging dahilan para uminit ang kanyang ulo. So ulit po natin ang mensahe ng Presidente sa larangan ng diplomasya, wala pong lugar ang pagmumura. At ang sabi po ng mensahe ng Presidente sa lahat ng miyembro ng kanyang gabinete, ang Presidente lang ang po pwedeng magmura, wala pong po pwedeng gumaya sa kanya. Pag-usapan naman po natin ang bunga ng ating pagkakaibigan po sa China, no? Tignan po natin ang halimbawa ng ilang mga Chinese-assisted official development assistance projects. As of April 15, itong ilang mga infrastruktura po mula sa datos ng DPWH. Well, unang-una po nakikita niyo po sa screen ang proyektong tulay na sa Binondo Intramuros Bridge, no? Pagkatapos po, narito po sa screen natin ang Estrella Pantaleon Bridge sa Makati, Mandaluyong. Nariyan din po ang Davao City Coastal Road, ang Panglao Tagbilaran City Offshore Connector Bridge at Dupinga Bridge and Approaches, ang Pasig Marikina River and Manggahan Floodway Bridges Construction Project, ang Mindanao River Basin, ang Samal Island Davao City Connector Project. Maasahan din po ang China sa panahon ng kalamidad tulad ng lindol, bagyo, pagputok sa bulkan at sa liberasyon ng Marawi. Makikita naman po ngayon sa ating infographics ang tulong na naibigay ng China ayon po sa datos ng Department of Finance. Ang total po na nabigay po nila ay 10.89 million para po sa mga iba't ibang mga aberya na nangyari noong taon nito. Pagdating naman po sa ating COVID-19 response, nagbigay ng 1 milyong doses of Sinovac vaccines ang China ay stand corrected. It's 1,001,000. Kasama na po yung 1,000 na Sinopharm kung saan isa dong sa dose na yon ay ginamit po kagabi ng Presidente dahil siya po ay nagpabakuna ng Sinopharm kagabi. Nagbigay din po sila ng mga testing kits, masks, PPEs, ventilators, and face shields. Meron din po silang pinadalang mga medical expert team sa kasagsagan po ng COVID. Nasa $77.38 million agreement on economic and technical cooperation po ang pinirmahan din ng Pilipinas sa China noong January 2021 ang po pwedeng gamitin sa ating COVID-19 response. Samantala, sa Talk to the People kagabi, nagpaalala ang Pangulo tungkol sa pagtitipon-tipon o tulad ng kanyang sinabi, convergence ng tao na magiging sanhi ng pagkalat ng virus. Kaugnay nito, sinabi ni DILG Secretary Eduardo Año na mahigpit nilang ipatutupad ang pagbabawal sa mass gathering sa mga local government units. Inireport din po ni Secretary Año na halos 75% or 74.35 na po ang mga benepisaryo sa NCR Plus ay nakatanggap ng 1,000 medical assistance, financial assistance po mula sa pamahalaan. Ito ay 17,037,122 mula sa total na 22,915,422 beneficiaries. 2 million naman po ang target nating mabakunahan ngayong buwan ng Mayo mula sa 1 million monthly average mula nang nag-umpisa ang ating vaccination program. Sa Talk to the People, tiniyak ni Secretary Galvez na mangyayari ito dahil nasa 4 na milyong doses ng bakuna ang inaasahan nating darating sa bansa ngayong buwan ng Mayo. Mamaya ay pag-usapan po natin kasama si Secretary Galvez at iba pang mga bagay. Speaking of vaccination, nagpapakuna nga po ang Presidente kagabi. Ang Roque Presidente ay first dose ng Sinopharm na kasama sa Compassionate Use Permit na inisyu ng FDA sa PSG Hospital at ito nga ay kabahagi sa 1,000 additional donation na binigay ng China sa ating bansa. Dito po nagtatapos ang ating briefing at bago po tayo tumuloy kay Secretary Carlito Galvez at kay Mayor Edwin Olivares, ay hahayaan ko muna po magbigay ng maikling welcoming remarks si Mariana Zubelde Ayala. Ma'am, thank you very much for hosting not only the press briefing but more importantly for hosting the vaccination. Dahil this is one of the rare instances po na ginagamit natin ang malls para maging mega vaccination facility. The floor is yours, Ma'am Mariana.
Thank you, Sec. Thank you to all, especially to our Sec Galvez and Mayor Olivares and Com Olivares of Paranque. We are really so honored to be able to partner with the government and the LGU on this very important initiative. As you know, Ayala has been attempted to be at the forefront of partnership with the government against COVID-19. And this is an important milestone for us today to be able to partner with with you all using Ayala malls as a location for one of the first vaccination sites for Sputnik V. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Truly, we feel privileged to be able to partner with you all against COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Bago po ibigay ang floor kay Secretary Garbes, kinikilala ko lang po mga kasama natin ngayon. Dito Fernandez po, Vice President ng Ayala Land, Christopher Maglano, Ayala Malls, si Vice Mayor Rico Goles, at tapos kasama po natin dito si Olivia Limpe Au, siya po ang local representative ng Sputnik at ang kanyang mga kasama. At ang mga kasama po natin si Dr. Teder Sa at si Doktora Corrales, no? Ang pinakamaganda pong doktora sa balat ng lupa. Anyway, Sir Galvez, ilan po yung inaasahan nating delivery ng Sputnik 5 itong buwan ng Mayo? Ilan po yung total na aasahan po natin na galing po sa Sputnik 5? At ano pa po yung mga ibang mga balita pa sa pagdating ng mga iba't iba pang mga bakuna pa sa ating bayan? Maraming salamat po and the floor is yours.
Unang-una po sa lahat, nagpapasalamat po ako sa ating butihing Mayor, Mayor Edwin Olivares sa pagtanggap po sa ating pilot test ng ating Sputnik V. At kami po nagpapasalamat din po sa Ayala Land, Ayala Mall sa Manila Bay, sa pamumuno po ngayon ni Miss Mariana Sobel de Ayala. Maraming salamat at naging maganda po ang reception ng Sputnik V. We never expected na ganitong kalaki ang inaasahan nating numero na tatanggap ng Sputnik V. At kami po'y natutuwa sa initial na 15,000 na i-roll out natin ngayon, nagsimula ngayon sa 5 city, ay madadagdag po yan. Ang ating kontrata po ay good for 20 million doses. Initially, nagkaroon tayo ng 10 million payment ng 15%. And we are expecting na in 4 months, yung 10 million po na doses po na yun ay may bibigay po sa atin. And we are expecting na sana, ma'am, nandito po si Ma'am Olivia, kasi siya po talaga ang, thank you very much ma'am for your patience. And siya po ang aming kinukulit para magkaroon po ng tinatawag na kaganapan na mayroon tayong more or less mga 2 million each month na magiging kasama po natin na i-deliver ng ating mga vaccine sa susunod na buwan. Ang ating pong inato sa Hari ay magkaroon po talaga tayo ng 10 to 15 million a month para magawa po natin talaga na matagpos po natin yung 50 million to 70 million na herd immunity target. At ito po ay natutuwa po kami dahil kasi po malaki po ang maitutulong ng Sputnik V na magkaroon tayo, madagdagan tayo ng 20 million sa 148 million na target natin na magbibili ngayong taon. Yun lang po, Sec Roque, and maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Sec Galvez. Puntahan naman po natin si Mayor Edwin Olivares ng Paranque. Sir, unang-una, napansin namin na napakadaming nagdagsaan dito, no? At napaka-orderly naman po, may social distancing, no? Dito ba ho sa Paranque, may problema ba ho kayo sa vaccine hesitation? Pero sa nakita ko po ngayon, para talagang excited ang mga taga-Paranque na magpabakuna at excited sila na magpapakuna ng Sputnik V. The floor is yours, Mayor Olivares.
Maraming salamat, Secretary Hari. Una sa lahat, magandang tanghali po sa ating lahat. Secretary Hari, gusto ko pong ipaalam sa lahat po ng ating sumasabaybay na nakikinig po sa atin na ang ating pulusod na Paranque ay nagsimula po ng rollout ng ating vaccine noong buwan ng March. Until now, ngayon po araw na ito, nasa 35,000 na po yung ating po na nabakunahan at yung po acceptance po sa Paranque, lumalaki po yung acceptance. Nung po kami nag-introduce nito nung buwan ng January, may mga hesitation po siya. Pero nung nag-launch po tayo ng ating Sinovac at saka yung AstraZeneca po nung March, gumanda po yung kumpiyansa ng mga tao rito at nakita po nila yung ating mga health professional po natin ang una po nagkaroon po ng vaccine. As of today po, halos 100% na po sa Paranque, yung pong ating mga health worker, yung pong ating pong mga sa A2, yung ating senior citizen, nasa almost 15,000 na pong ating na vaccine. Yung pong ating pong A3, nasa 10,000 na po yung ating mga person with comorbidities. Kaya tuloy-tuloy po yung ating vaccination po rito. At ang maganda po rito, ito pong ating vaccination site, gusto ko po ipaalam po sa ating pamahalaan na hindi po ito yung first day ng Ayala na kanila pong pinagamit tong ating pong vaccination center na ito. Isang buwan na po namin ginagamit po ito. At gusto ko po nga kunin ang pagkakataon na ito na magpasalamat po kay Ma'am Mariana sa buong Ayala Group of Company sa walang sawa ng suporta niyo pong ibinibigay. At uulitin ko po, Secretary, gumanda na po ang kumpiyansa sa vaccination sa lungsod ng Paranque.
Magandang balita po yan, Mayor, no? At siyempre, kasama rin po natin, walang iba kundi ang aking classmate sa 17th Congress, walang iba po kundi si Congressman Eric Olivares, no? Pero shy si Eric, ayaw na niyang magsalita. Si Kuya na lang daw, si Mayor. So, tumuli na po tayo sa ating open forum. Kasama po natin ang PIO ng Paranque para maging moderator dahil tayo po ay wala sa Malacanang. As usual, we will be alternating between Yusek Roque and Mr. Mar Jimenez, PIA of Paranque, for the open forum. Pero with the kind indulgence of PIO Jimenez, Yusek Roque, can you please ask the first set of questions from the Malacanang Press Corps, please?
Yes, thank you, Secretary. Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat at sa ating mga bisita. From unang tanong from Alexis Romero ng Philippine Star, the President daw po assured the public once things begin to be clear, he would lift the quarantine immediately without delay. What did he mean by things becoming clear? What condition will require it?
Well, maraming beses na po nabanggit ng Presidente na ang solusyon sa pandemya ay itong bakuna, no? So, pinapadami lang po natin yung hanay ng mga nabakunahan na at tinitignan din natin yung tinatawag na attack rate habang nag-i-improve pa po tayo ng ating healthcare capacity. So, ang ibig sabihin po ng Presidente, pag marami-rami na ang nabakunahan at pag napadami na natin yung ating mga ICU beds lalong-lalo na at napakita natin na napababa na natin yung pagkalat ng virus, pwede na po talaga tayo magbukas muli ng ating ekonomiya.
Yes, Secretary, yung susunod po niyang tanong mula po kay Secretary Galvez, mula kay MJ Mondehar ng SMN9 News. Ano daw po ang criteria sa pamimigay ng Sputnik V vaccine among LGUs? Mayor Marcy Teodoro is asking bakit hindi raw sila nasama nasa Marikina ang storage facility ng Sputnik V and they provided technical assistance para sa nasabing bakuna.
Yung ano po natin, yung nakita po natin yung capacity po ng LGU at the same time yung training po na binigay po ng ating National Vaccine Operation Center. Huwag po mag-alala si Mayor Marcy, sa susunod po na delivery, mas marami po makukuha niya. Sa ngayon po kasi, very limited lang po yung ating pilot test natin, 15,000. But do not worry, ang naman natin, pinakompensate naman natin yung number ng mga vaccine natin sa lahat ng mga dinadala natin na vaccine. Katulad ng Sinovac at saka yung Gamaleya, sabay naman po dumating yan. So, we compensated kung hindi po sila, wala po silang Gamaleya, mas mataas po yung makukuha lang doon sa Sinovac. So, don't worry, Mayor, we will make sure that in the next delivery ng Gamaleya, dadagsa po sa inyo.
Okay, pero mag-zoom ata, Trisha Terada,
Okay, thank
CNN.
you, Secretary Galisha Terraga.
Hi, good afternoon, Spokesman, and you are other guests. So just the first question on the President's statement last night, the movement sa West Philippine incident. He never made a promise to retake the West Philippine Sea from China, but there are at least 3 occasions where he did state specific actions should China insist on staying in our territory. What do we make of these statements now, sir?
Hindi po masyado naintindihan yung tanong, no? Putol-putol po yung dating ng tanong. Kaya ulit lang po.
Pero ulitin ko po. Sir, yung sa statement ng ni Pangulo last night that he said he never made a promise to retake the West Philippine Sea from China. But there are at least 3 occasions when we review the transcripts, the statements of President, where he did state specific actions should China insist on staying in our territory. What do we make of these statements now, sir?
I think the President should be construed literally. Hindi niya pinangako na maibabalik niya yung mga teritoryong nawala sa atin dahil sa kagagawan ng ibang tao at ibang administrasyon. No? Pero mga sinasabi niya, he will ask China to honor sovereignty and sovereign rights na ginagawa naman po niya. Pero I think the President was clear, hindi niya ipinangako na mababawi yung mga teritoryo na nawala na sa atin. No? Even the jet ski, ang sabi lang naman niya, sasabihan niya ang China na umalis. No? Pero hindi niya ipinangako na yung nawalang Scarborough Shoal, mapapaalis niya ang mga Chino roon.
Sir, but in sometime in 2016, February 21 to be exact, the President said he will tell China to stop its expansions in the Philippine territory if nothing happens in his second year of presidency. What happened to this, sir? Is the President sort of taking a softer stance compared to yung medyo hardline stance ni Sir nung kampanya?
On the contrary, Trish, nagtagumpay po ang Presidente kasi sa kanyang administrasyon, wala pong bagong reclamation ginawa ang China, wala pong bagong mga refurbishment na ginawa sa mga artificial islands ang China. Ito po yung isa sa mga major na kasunduan na nakamit ng Presidente at hindi po yan mabubura ng ating mga kritiko.
Sir, still in line with this, but on Monday, si Senator Manny Pacquiao said that he is not satisfied with President Duterte's stand on the West Philippine Sea issue. He also cited yung popular nga po na jet ski statement from 2016, which he said gave encouragement to Filipinos that time. Pero just last week daw po, si Pangulo sinabi that the Philippines is citing as utang na loob with China because of the COVID-19 vaccines that we procured. And we all know that si Senator Pacquiao and si President Duterte belong to PDP laban. What does Malacanang think of this? Some are actually wondering if this could be a sign of falling out habang papalapit na po yung election, considering that they belong to the same political party.
I don't think there is a falling out. Hanggang ngayon po, nananatiling napakalaking fan ni Senator Pacquiao ang ating presidente sa larangan ng palakasan, lalo na sa larangan ng boxing. Hanggang doon na lang po tayo.
Sir, just a bit on yung sa pagpapabakuna po ni Pangulo. What is it, sir, with the Sinopharm vaccine that it's been the choice of the President's doctors? We're interested to know if the President has any medical condition or parang anything that's related to his current medical condition that makes other vaccine brands unfit for him. And sa safety lang din, sir, kasi di ba po hindi siya registered and FDA saying na hindi pa nare-review ng experts yan. What gives the President's team the confidence na safe po ito for the President? Do we have, or does the President, the team of physicians, do they have experts from the vaccine panel na nag-review po ng Sinopharm?
Unfortunately po, I was not privy dun sa mga conversation ng Presidente sa kanyang mga doktor. No? But I understand na ang choice ni Presidente was guided also by his doctors. And I can only surmise na it's the platform, no? Platform na inactivated vaccine because this has been in use for the past 140 years at least.
Sir, just last question on the vaccination. No? Yung pagpapabakuna ni Pangulo, is that a sign that ito na po yung mag-pave na way for the negotiations or for us to procure vaccines from Sinopharm? And with that move, sir, what message does that signal to those who want to get vaccinated na hindi pa registered yung bakuna officially?
Well, alam niyo po, it's covered by compassionate use. So as far as the President is concerned, he did not violate any laws because precisely it was administered by the PSG hospital, although physically administered by the Health Secretary himself. No? So covered po yan ng compassionate use permit. So wala pong nalabag ang ating Presidente. At yung supply naman po ay nanggaling nga doon sa additional 1,000 donation ng Chinese government to the Philippine government. So, I think the message that the President sent yesterday is magpabakuna na ang lahat habang may makukuhang bakuna.
Thank you, Spokesman. Salamat po.
Thank you muna. I will turn over now the floor to our moderator, Mar Jimenez, PIO of Paranque.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We would like to call Mela Las Moras of PTD4, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Secretary Roque and to our guests. Sir, unahin lang po natin yung Sputnik V vaccination dito sa Paranque City. Ano po yung expectation natin ngayon dito sa ating programa dito at paano ito makatutulong sa ibayo pang pagpaparami ng mga nabakunahan pa sa Pilipinas?
Well, sa akin po, na una-una, ang pinakamabuting balita, meron na naman po tayong additional brand ng vaccine na nagagamit. At ito nga po ay kabahagi ng trial order kasi ito po yung kauna-unang pagkakataon na we had to deal with a vaccine na merong negative 18 na handling requirement. So, kanina po nagtanong si Mayor Marcy, trial lang po ito, hindi pa po ito official rollout dahil dapat nga makita natin kung paano dadalhin sa vaccination center yung negative 18 na requirement galing po sa warehouse ng Marikina. At pangalawa po, sa mainit na reception ng mga taga-Paranque, tingin ko naman po, tama rin yung naunang survey ng SWS na kinakailangan lamang na magsimula magpabakuna at karamihan ng ating mga mamamayan ay magpapabakuna. Perhaps si Secretary Gabes would like to add.
Nakita po natin na napakadami po na talaga nakapila. Tsaka we never expect na yung reception ng Gamaleya is napakataas. And we are very happy na yung ating second vaccine na ina-administer natin sa galing sa procurement. Yung ating second vaccine na ina-administer natin sa galing sa procurement natin ay talagang well accepted by the Filipino people. Yun na nga, ang sinasabi namin na talagang yung lahat ng ating portfolio na kinuha sa vaccine, talagang inano po natin na magkaroon po ng safe at effective ang kanyang requirements. And we are very happy that Gamaleya will add for the steady supply na gagawin natin this coming months, especially this coming May, June, and July. Maraming salamat.
I stand corrected, Mela. It's the third vaccine brand pala that we have utilized. It's the third.
Opo. And second question lang, Secretary Roque. Kasama kasi kayo mismo rin kagabi ni Pangulong Duterte. Pwede niyo po bang pakikwento? Kumusta po si Pangulong Duterte at paano tinanggap ng kanyang katawan ito mga Sinopharm vaccine? Kailan po yung second dose?
Wala naman pong problema, no? Kasi ang nangyari kahapon, nagkaroon kami ng pribadong pagpupulong kasama si Secretary Lorenzana, mahigit kumulang 1 oras yun. Pagkatapos yun, nagpabakuna siya. At matapos sa pagbabakuna niya, tsaka po siya pumunta doon sa meeting with some members of the IATF na tumagal ng almost 2 hours. So in terms of adverse reaction, wala po akong nakitang adverse reaction kasi matapos siya magpabakuna, pumunta siya kaagad doon sa pagpupulong namin.
Opo. Kailan kaya sir yung second dose? Second dose po.
I think it's the same as Sinovac 1 month after.
Opo. And sir, panghuling tanong na lang po from Sweden, Velado Ramirez, my colleague. Ano po yung update sa procurement ng Sinopharm vaccines and hindi po ba magkakaroon ng vaccine hesitancy ang ating mga kababayan sa ating existing vaccines given that the President opted for another brand na wala pa pong EUA?
Ay, unang-una po, it's covered by compassionate use. Paulit-ulit ko po yan because that's the legal basis na ginamit ng Presidente yan. I don't think it has any effect on vaccine confidence kasi nakikita naman ng taong bayan na basta the best bakuna is the one that's available. No? At wala naman po kasing bakuna na aprubahan ng ating Food and Drug Administration kung ito po ay hindi napatunayan ng expert panel group na ito po ay epektibo at ligtas. And Secretary Gabes will add.
Ngayon po, yung vaccine expert panel, nung nagkaroon po ng tinatawag nating presentation sa amin, talaga pong halos po equal po yung Sinovac at saka yung Sinopharm in terms of yung tinatawag nating safety. Kasi nakita natin na inactivated siya. At the same time, yung Sinopharm, ito yung ginagamit ng mga leaders sa China. At saka ito yung tinatawag natin, kaya nakita natin mahal yan. At yan din po ang ginamit po ng mga leaders dito sa area ng Middle East. So with that, nakita ng recommendation ng kanyang doktor na talaga yung Sinopharm ang mas sa kanya. Ang nakikita natin dito, yung lahat ng mga vaccine, ang safety and efficacy halos pareho yan. Nakikita natin, sinasabi natin na Dr. Edsel, na yung pinaka-effective na niyan is yung it prevents yung tinatawag natin from severe and hospitalization and death. So yun ang pinaka-importante. At nakita naman natin, considering na same inactivated virus platform siya, wala naman sigurong makikita na pagkakaalang-alang sa confidence, considering Sinopharm is also being widely used by other countries. Actually, yung Sinovac is number 5 yan sa world usage. At ang Sinopharm po ay halos sumusunod po sa Sinovac.
Okay, thank you so much po.
Maraming salamat, Mela. Balik tayo kay Yusek Roque.
Yes, thank you, Secretary. Tanong mula kay Jason Gutierrez ng New York Times. May we know why the President used a vaccine not okay yet by the FDA? The same one earlier used by the PSG, which was banned for using smuggled vaccine. And how would this affect the public's confidence on Sinovac?
Hindi po illegal ang paggamit ng Presidente dahil may compassionate use na ini-issue para sa PSG Hospital at hindi po smuggled ang ginamit ng Presidente dahil ito po ay donated ng Chinese government.
Opo, yung tanong po ni Crisalyn Catarong ng SMNN News about the Senator Pacquiao ay nasagot niyo na, Secretary. Thank you po.
Punta tayo uli kay PIO Jimenez.
Hello, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Can I call on Ian Cruz of GMA7?
Hi, Secretary. Sir,
Yes, good morning.
napatanong lang
Good
po.
afternoon.
Meron daw po bang ibang mga cabinet secretary na gagamit naman ng Sputnik?
Wala po, si Presidente lang po nabakunahan kagabi.
I mean, Sputnik, yung Sputnik V po. Na
Sa
vaccine.
Sputnik, ang alam ko po, wala rin na dito sa Paranque, wala po, no? Wala pa pong sekretary na nabakunahan dito sa Paranque. Wala pa sa ibang lugar din. Si
Okay.
Sec Galvez.
Kasi yung sa Sputnik, ang ang ginagamit pa rin natin yung A1 at saka A2 at saka A3 na priority list. In fact, dito nga sa natin, meron tayo dito na A1 at saka A3 and then A2 dun sa baba. So yung parang target ng natin dito sa pilot run natin is yung healthcare workers, seniors at saka yung people with comorbidities.
Okay. Natanong ko po, sir, kasi merong pinadalang larawan sa akin, si Secretary Panelo nagpapabakuna. Ano po yung ginamit sa kanya?
Wala po kaming alam dyan, no? Anyway, Secretary Panelo is a senior citizen. So, kasama po siya sa A2 dahil ang binabakunahan po natin ngayon, A1, A2, and A3. Kasama yung may mga comorbidities. So, he's not there as a secretary, he's there perhaps as a senior citizen.
Okay. Lastly, Secretary Galvez, doable po ba this month? Kaya po natin ng 2 million vaccinees na ma-administer?
Yun ang tinitingnan po natin kasi kung titingnan po natin na ang ating rollout, kailangan po talaga umangat ang ating rollout na more or less 4 million a month. Yun po ang pinakamaganda. And then, ang isa po na tinitingnan po natin na bakit nagkaroon tayo ng parang slippage in terms most likely yun ang target namin na iangat namin na 2 million. And then later, this coming June, target namin ay magkaroon kami ng more or less, meron kaming 1 million per week or more or less 4 million a month. So ganun po ang gagawin po natin, i-scale up natin until such time na we can achieve yung 500,000 a day or 3 million a week.
Okay. By Zoom, Pierre Anada, please. Rappler.
Hello? Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Earlier you said about Foreign Secretary Locsin's remarks. Sir, is it right to say that the President was displeased with Foreign Secretary Locsin's remarks on China? And was this displeasure what led Secretary Locsin to apologize to the Chinese ambassador?
Well, I think what was clear from the President's instruction to me last night after our private meeting with Secretary Lorenzana is that he does not approve of the use of profanities, particularly in the field of diplomacy. Kaya nga sabihin mo nga sa ibang mga cabinet, ako lang pwede magmura, wala na ibang magmumura, lalo na pagdating sa diplomasya. At what I did today was to state for the record our existing Philippine-Chinese policy that we have agreed to disagree on the West Philippine Sea, but we will move forward on areas that we can in fact move forward on.
Earlier, sir, you said that there is no room for cursing in diplomacy, yet, quote-unquote, only the President can curse. How can you reconcile this?
Well, because the President naman is the principal, no? and all the cabinet members are alter ego. So I guess the guidance being given by the President now is you have no authority to use profanities, no? Particularly in the sensitive field of diplomacy.
Minister, just going to the Sinopharm vaccination of the President. Sir, the 1,000 donated Sinopharm vaccines, is this apart from the 10K PSG vaccines, or did the two deliveries come together? We just want to know any relationship between those two batches.
I suppose the 1,000 forms part of the 10,000 compassion. Compassionate use permit issued by the FDA, no? But the 1,000 is a further donation from the government of China.
So sir, the 10,000 of the PSG, that's...
Kung hindi po nag-donate ang Chinese government, hindi rin po makakapagbakuna ang PSG. Hindi ko po alam kung bakit hindi dumarating yung 10,000 na pwede naman pong bayaran ng PSG, pero I can only surmise na mas kinakailangan talaga magkaroon talaga ng agent ang Sinopharm here for the purpose of applying for the EUA.
And then sir, you also said before that you said in March that the President decided to just wait for the FDA to issue an EUA for Sinopharm before getting vaccinated. This is around the time you were saying that palace lawyers were studying the possibility of a CSP being used as legal basis for the President's vaccination. So what changed? How come suddenly he decided, I won't wait for the EUA, I'll just get vaccinated today?
What changed is the fact that the EUA has been grossly delayed. And that's why the President, when the Chinese government donated, opted to have his vaccination.
And sir, just a quick follow-up lang. Sir, can you just clarify, was the President's displeasure about Secretary Locsin what led to the Secretary to apologize, or there are two separate events?
Two separate events na po yan. I was told by Secretary Locsin that he has personally apologized to the Chinese ambassador in my telephone conversation with him this morning.
Alright, thank you, Secretary.
Thank you very much, Pia. Back tayo kay Yusek Roque, please.
Yes, thank you, Secretary. Tanong po mula kay Joanna Balyaran ng GG Press. Why was the President inoculated only now if he's covered by the special permit approved for the PSD in February? That's almost 3 months.
Wala po kasing supply na dumating at ngayon lang po dumating yung 1,000 na additional donation ng Chinese government.
From MJ Blanca Flor of Daily Tribune, DICT Secretary Gringo Nasan asked the United Nations Development Program to return the funds earmarked for the free Wi-Fi program. Secretary Onasan said the department is capable to finish the project on its own. Is it wise to terminate the agreement between the DICT and the UNDP on the grounds that the performance of its foreign contractor was unsatisfactory?
Well, again, no, as one of the primary authors of the free Wi-Fi law, bago pa po ako pumunta ng Malacanang, kinakalampag na namin ng DICT dahil ang expectation namin, mabilis po mapapatupad itong batas nito. Pero ikalimang taon na po, 10,000 pa lang po out of 120,000 ang naitatayo. At dun sa 10,000 na naitayo, this year alone, 500% more na Wi-Fi sites ang naitayo ng DICT mismo kung ikukumpira dun sa mga naitayo ng foreign contractor. So I think it is very clear na since the right to connectivity, the right to internet is a human right, hindi po katanggap-tanggap yung delay na nangyayari pagdating sa pagpapatupad ng isang batas.
Well, second question niya, how will this move in the middle of the project affect the implementation of the free Wi-Fi law? Does the palace remain confident that the DICT can meet its target even without the foreign contractor?
Wala pong epekto yan. Baka siguro po mapapabilis pa lang. Ulitin ko po, 120,000 spots na Wi-Fi, libreng Wi-Fi ang target. 10,000 pa lang po ang naitatayo. At sa 10,000 na yon, 500% this year ang tinayo ng DICT compared kung sa mga naitayo na o naikabit na ng foreign contractor.
Thank you, Secretary.
Okay, by Zoom, Joseph Morong, please.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon po. Sir, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sir, I'll do away with yung question na pinakasuyo ni Ate Roque kasi hindi na daw umabot sa cut-off. This is a question from Leila, no? Kanina, sir, si Mayor Magalong was in laging handa and he mentioned something about the contact tracing. Now, Leila's question is, contact tracing, SR Magalong said that DOH rejected the Stay Safe app because it still has to study it thoroughly. Stay Safe has also not submitted all of the necessary documentation, so the government can't say categorically that it is highly reliable. Question, what happens now to the government's contact tracing efforts, which Magalong says is still the weakest link? How can we expect an improvement in the COVID response? That's Leila's question, charged to Leila.
Lahat po ng kontrobersiya tungkol dito sa app na ito ay natapos na. Lahat po ng kinakailangan i-donate ay na-donate na po sa Philippine government. At ito po ay ginagamit na po at pinapatupad na po ng ating DILG. At ang technical assistance po is being provided by DICT. So yung usapin po na marami pang deliverables, tapos na po lahat yan. And we have decided to go full speed ahead with safety.ph, no? So ano na po yan? All systems, staysafe.ph. All systems go na po tayo.
Okay. Sir, I'll go now to my question, but can I go first to Secretary Galvez?
Go ahead, please.
Secretary Galvez, good afternoon, sir. Sir, last night po kay Presidente, no, you reported that our strategy now is to target not 110 million Filipinos, but something like 83 million in the COVID hardest hit areas in the country para magkaroon at least in those areas a herd immunity, no? Kasi 70% lang naman ng population yung kailangan in those areas. Now my question, sir, is when do we intend to finish
Ang ano natin ngayon, talagang
these target areas?
ang target natin ay talagang kunin yung 70 million na herd immunity. Pero nakikita natin ngayon with the constrictions of the global market, lalo na kung yun ang nangyayari sa India, na nahandon yung 30 million natin na mga vaccine na kinuha. So there is a possibility talaga na magkaroon ng delay. So in case na magkaroon tayo ng delay and we were not able to substitute yung mga vaccine na makukuha natin sa mga lugar na nakita natin na magkakaroon ng constriction, ang ginagawa natin, we will have a realistic target of having a range of 50 to 70 million. So in order to really get the same effect, kunin natin yung mga strategic areas wherein doon nagkaroon ng tinatawag nating affectation. At the same time, it has the highest economic and social impact. So yun ang ginagawa nating strategy kasi kung nakikita natin na realistically we will have a shortfall of supply, we need to strategize that we will get the same effect.
So kailan po yung target natin na makuha lahat ng percentage do sa highly affected areas?
Ang ang target namin, nagkaroon kami ng simulation. Ang tawag namin doon yung kay Pepot's model. Yung si Mr. Pepot is siya yung pinaka-logistic officer ng Jollibee. He is one of our supply chain expert. Ang natin is we can have the herd immunity sa NCR and the plus 6 provinces around NCR by November. Yun ang tinitingnan namin, 180 days. But ang target natin sa iba is we will scale up to 213 days with more or less with the same tinatawag natin productivity of having more or less yung target natin is sa NCR 120,000 a day, but in our national target 500,000 jobs a day.
Sir, thank you. Sir, I don't know if it's covered by CDA, but can you give us a ballpark figure of how much the Sinopharm vaccine would cost if we buy it?
Sa ngayon, wala pa namang tayo sa Sinopharm considering that wala pa tong EUA, so we cannot access the vaccine until such time that it will have an EUA. Pero ang nakikita natin yung initially yung ating mga vaccines na binabayaran natin ngayon, nagiging public domain na yung information about the price.
Right.
Yes, because considering that we transfer money through the banks and it become transparent already.
Sir, Sinopharm no cost, ballpark?
Ang Sinopharm ballpark nung initial natin is ang nakikita natin dati that it has the initial of more or less $76. But apparently it went down to $40. Kaya medyo may kamahalan pa rin siya. But we believe na just in case na maging available ang Sinopharm, it doesn't matter yung price kasi nakita natin yung strategy ng Israel. And they bought the vaccine twice the price so that they can have the access and steady supply of vaccine. So yun ang talagang importante Joseph, we need to have a steady supply of vaccine, at least 15 million a month.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. Sir Secretary Roque, can I go to you, please?
Go ahead, please.
Sir, my question is on the provenance of the vaccine that was used by the President. You keep talking about 1,000 doses of Sinopharm. When did this arrive?
I have no information. I was just informed that this forms part of 1,000 additional donation from China. I don't know if Secretary Galvez knows.
I believe yung 1,000 na yun is the same flight the same flight that we had yung 500,000 na donation.
Sinabay, sir, dun sa Sinovac. Sir, okay, what is, Secretary Roque, what is the edge of Sinopharm vaccines over all the other vaccines that we have in our portfolio? Would you say now, sir, that since the President took it, this is the safest vaccine, and if this is the safest vaccine for the President, why are we not using it for the ordinary Filipinos?
The President officially said that he opted for this brand upon advice of his doctors, and I will leave it at that.
Sir, kay Secretary Locsin, just one last topic, sir. When did Secretary Locsin apologize to the Chinese ambassador here?
I'm not sure when, but he told me about it in my telephone conversation with him this morning.
Yes, sir. The President was referring to, when he said that rude and disrespectful language is not allowed, he was referring to Secretary Locsin's tweet when he used expletive to address the Chinese government. That's not correct, sir. Is that what he's referring to?
I believe so.
Was he made to apologize, or he apologized voluntarily, sir?
The President did not ask him to apologize, but Secretary Locsin did it on his own.
All right, sir. Thank you for your time, Secretary Galvez. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Balik tayo kay Mar Jimenez, PIO ng Paranque.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Can I call on now Jacob Lazaro of One News PH, please?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have 3 questions. First is, was the pilot rollout a success enough that we can adequately manage such delicate vaccines such as Sputnik and Pfizer?
I defer to Secretary Galvez.
Yung nakita natin yung Sputnik at saka yung Pfizer, kailangan talagang tinatawag nating very specialized handling. We can say that this is very successful. One, kung walang wastage. Second is yung uptake mataas. Nakita natin na we are very happy that the uptake of Sputnik is so high na yung supposed to be 1,000 lang yung i-deliver natin yun, and we need to have an emergency storage ng another batches, kasi nakita natin talagang overwhelming yung reception ng taga Paranque. Nagpapasalamat po kami kay Paranque Mayor. And third, na tinatawag natin success is at least yung adverse effect, at saka yung tinatawag natin yung possible clinical effect ng is naging favorable. Ibig sabihin, it's safe and effective. And I believe natin si Madam yung isasamahan natin sa ating mga doktor.
Magandang umaga po. Tama po ang ating mahal na Secretary Galvez, and we are even surprised na napakadami ng dumating ngayon ng ating mga interested group of vaccinees who would like to avail of the vaccines. So this is the longest line so far ever since we started our vaccination in the city of Paranque. And we were not expecting this much kasi nag-prepare lang kami ng mga na-text namin, but apparently madami pong dumating as walk-in.
Yes.
Okay.
Pero quick
Si
question.
Mayor Olivares, ano pong assessment niyo so far dito sa rollout ng Sputnik V dito sa inyong syudad?
Secretary, maganda yung kumpiyansa dito sa Sputnik 5. Makikita po natin na aside doon sa ating pong mga pilapunta rito, kasi yung ating pong mga beneficiary, based po ito sa online registered. Doon po sa date registered. Pero nag-accept po tayo ng walk-in as quick substitution list. Kasi hindi po dapat masayang po yung ating vaccine. Kasi pag-handle po ito, may specific minute lang para ma-implement po natin. At makikita po natin ang city po natin to our CHO. Meron tayong mga biorep po dito para makontrol po natin yung temperature ng ating vaccine.
Okay, thank you. Quick question na po then, facility-wise po, are we prepared to handle the storage and transportation ng Pfizer or Sputnik?
In terms of Paranque, yes. Na kami po ay nagkaroon po ng memorandum agreement doon po sa Swilling Pharmaceutical Company na isa pong professional na nag-handle ng logistic. Sila po yung in charge na kumukuha from the airport or from other storage. Tapos from their storage, dito po sa Paranque sa Swilling, to our vaccination center. Tapos yung pong ating pong mga biorep available po sa aming mga vaccination center.
Kay Secretary Galvez.
Secretary Galvez will add.
Yeah.
Bali yung tinatawag natin Pfizer, Moderna, at saka yung Sputnik. Ito yung mga tinatawag natin specialized vaccine na meron talagang sub-zero na tinatawag nating storage. Ang ginawa natin para at least talagang wala tayong wastage, we contracted already yung tinatawag natin third party. So kasama sa contract sa World Bank, yung kontrata ng, for example, Moderna, nakalagay doon yung Swilling ang mag-handle. So with that, alam naman natin na yung talagang mga high-end na pharma third party provider, pagka once na nalaman ng Pfizer at saka ng Moderna and also with the Swilling na kaya nating i-handle, they will bring more. So yun ang nakikita natin, kaya nga nakita natin selected lang sa mga LGUs na binibigyan natin. For example, natin talaga dito sa Pfizer, kailangan talaga na dito lang sa mga centers, na mga cold storage facility tayo. So, huwag kayong mabahala na kaya-kaya natin yung Pfizer at saka yung Moderna and also yung Sputnik in terms of handling. Kasi yung ating mga doktor at saka yung ating mga tinatawag nating mga local health officer ay alam na po yan sa kanilang pag-handle. Kasi nagkaroon na po sila ng training ever since na meron tayong supposed to be na Pfizer na darating lang last February 15.
Sir, a question lang on that. Kasi di ba yung 5 cities na napili ngayon based sa capability nila for the ultra-cold storage. But magbibigay po ba tayo ng, pag dumating na yung mga more doses ng Sputnik, magbibigay po ba tayo sa mga outlying provinces? And how do we make sure that they have the enough facilities for the storage and transportation?
Actually, meron tayong evaluation na ginagawa ang National Vaccination Operation Center natin under Yusek Kabotahe. At saka nandito rin si RD, si Dr. Rapaz, na talagang ini-inspect nila yung lahat ng in-evaluate nila, yung mga storage facility. And yung nakikita namin, yung mga LGUs na talagang very responsive at they have invested so much and they even bought yung mga ultra-cold chain facility, ay yun po ang binibigyan po namin. And then we also pilot test. For example, ito pinilot test namin yung Paranque and we are satisfied. Bibigyan sa namin ng malaking volume. At the same time, yung ibang mga other 12 cities ng Metro Manila, bibigyan din natin in trickles. Pagka nakita natin na kaya-kaya lang i-handle, pwede natin silang uling buhusan ng mga tinatawag natin ng mga doses, including yung Cebu, yung Davao, and even yung sa Region 4A and Region 3. Pero ang ginagawa natin in order to prevent yung risk of spoilage, doon lang sa mga selected areas that we have yung tinatawag natin na mga areas na nahandun yung tinatawag natin third party provider po natin.
Sir, I guess last na lang, quick lang. Ano po yung breakdown ng mga, at saka brands, ng vaccines na makukuha natin this month? Yung quantity po. Last question eh. Yes.
Dito yung buo sa buong 2021 or?
Ay, this month lang po.
Sa this month, makukuha po natin 2 million po ng Sinovac. And we are negotiating kay Mama Olivia na sana magkaroon tayo ng at least 1 or 2 million this month sa Sputnik. And most likely, may maganda tayong balita na most likely baka may darating po na either yung Moderna or Pfizer coming from COVAX. So mayroon naman po tayo in order sa Moderna, it's supposed to be this May yung darating yung 194,000, but because of the the constriction of some supply dito sa US ay na-delay po na naging June. So sa ngayon po, ang inaasahan po natin is yung sa Sputnik na more or less 1 to 2 million. Then sa Sinovac na 2 million. And then most likely kung matuloy po yung Pfizer na meron po maibibigay po na 193,000, yun po ang inintay po natin.
That's all. Thank you.
Go ahead. Sino na tayo? Kay Yusek Roque, please.
Yes, thank you, Secretary. Secretary, unahin ko na po yung tanong naman ni Heidi Sampang ng DZAS. Ano daw po ang reaksyon ng palasyo na kinansela na ni Carrie Lam ng ang no vaccine, no visa policy for OFW pero swab test is mandatory. Carrie Lam has asked Labor Secretary to review scheme and hold discussion with consulates from countries that provide most domestic workers.
Well, we appreciate po the gesture of Madam Lam. And of course, we welcome also the mandatory testing. No? In fact, we are also ramping up our own testing here in the Philippines because talaga naman pong pag hindi mo tinest, hindi mo alam kung nasaan ang ating kalaban.
Opo.